Happy Veterans Day. We are Trinity proud. We have many associates who have served in the armed forces who would like to share their stories with you. Take this time to enjoy and listen to their experiences. We have so much to thank them for and salute them for the freedom that we have here today.
The most enjoyable part of my time in the military was getting the opportunity to travel all over the world, especially Europe. I got to travel to Germany, France, Austria, Spain, Italy, Turkey, and I'll never forget that experience.
Say when I was in basic training, I was fresh, new, 23 years old, just out there, and I remember going to the bay room or the day room, and we were being chosen to go into our squads. That's what it was, our squads. And I was a gum popper, and I used to crack some gum. And so I was cracking this gum, and this one drill sergeant came up to me and told me either you wear it or swallow it. So I swallowed it, and I haven't chewed gum since. And that was in 1976.
The memory that sticks the most in my head is probably when I graduated and my mom was there. I didn't expect any of my family to be there at the time, and my mom didn't support the fact that I wanted to go into the Marines because it was wartime. It was during the time of Desert Storm. So nobody told me that anybody was going to be there when I graduated, and when I looked out in the crowd, I saw my mom there. She was crying and she was proud of me.
One of my most memorable times I had in the United States Army was in 1986. I went to Germany, and I was stationed in Stuttgart, Germany, which is Panzerkreis, known as Patch Barracks. And what really stood out there was that was an infantry unit. There was over 15,000 men, and there were only 15 ladies who were accepted to be in a heavy equipment transport operating unit. What we did was we drove the largest tanks and trucks that was in the military to take the tanks to the front line in the time of war. What stood out was we were on our way going to Austria for an event, and we were informed that we had to stay out in the field for over 30 days. The German wives felt that that was not appropriate for 15 women to be out there with that many men, and in Frankfurt they came together and invited us into our homes. What I loved the most about it was our family is the military. That's what we serve. We believe in that. The soldiers, all the men, they did not get upset. They felt it was the right thing to do.
Good memory will be, I said when we used to go training, we used to leave our post, pack our bags, and go to another post, or Russian border type of, Czechoslovakian, I think it was. And we used to train. We used to be out there for 30 days. And let's say 5 days would be out training, the other 2 would be inside. You know, we had a little time off, but that was about it. The rest was training.
The most important memory that I have from being in the military is the expression on my father's face after graduating from basic training. But he was so proud, and I can still remember his face to this day.
Probably when I was in Afghanistan, being able to meet all of the local Afghans and teach them, you know, safety and just how to be healthy was actually a really humbling experience.
So one of my fondest times during my military deployment was, during my military career was probably during my first deployment when I was getting ready to come back from my first leave, my first R&R. There was just a lot of emotions, a lot of anticipation, anxiety, relief to get back, see loved ones.
The most thing I remember about being in the military is boot camp. Boot camp was very hard, and I was young, but it was good for me. I enjoyed it.
My most memorable time that I remember from being in the military is when I finished jump school. It was a series of 5 jumps, and on that 5th jump, I never forget it because they marched us out to Airborne Field, which was in Fort Benning, Georgia. And they pinned our wings on us, and I went on. After the ceremony was over, I was so proud. I went home, called my father on the telephone.
In my mind, I remember when I couldn't even run. I had to learn how to run because of the attitude down in Texas. But my uncle died and made me more of a man that I went through.
Then I cross-trained in physical therapy. Now, physical therapy was wonderful working in the hospitals. I learned the basis of treating patients, got a chance to treat people from the colonels to the generals and all the way down to the privates. Unique thing about physical therapy in the Air Force is that we actually did evaluations, even though we were not licensed physical therapists. We were trained through our medical school programs. We had to do initial evaluations and treatments. So you had a little bit more freedom than you have in the civilian world.
One of my most memorable moments was the time when I was promoted to a captain and placed over a company in charge of over 200 individuals, over $1 million worth of equipment, and during my tenure, I lost not a single piece of equipment.
Something I really enjoyed about being in the military was my duty station, which was in Germany. I love being immersed in all of the German culture, all of the non-civilians. They welcomed, you know, all of the GIs with open arms. It was just a favorable experience, even being young and being in the country, out of the country for the first time. The second thing that I really enjoy is that the military is a huge melting pot, meaning that you're a soldier first. Everything else doesn't matter. Doesn't matter male, female, doesn't matter what your race is, what, you know, what your religion is. Everybody is on the same page working for the same goal, just like a huge family.
The thing I enjoyed most was the traveling. I got to see a lot of the world. I got to meet a lot of different people that come from different cultures and backgrounds, and just was able to give me a big perspective on there's more to life than the Chicagoland area.
All the different people that I got to meet, people from all over the country, and I'm still friends with a couple of them today.
I liked the fact that during 6-month cruises we ended up with, you end up meeting a lot of cool people. They're like all your brothers.
I mean, we were in places where Christmas Day I'm on the beach. And Christmas Day I'm on the beach, it's 85 degrees. Mm-hmm. We're snowing here.
Mm-hmm. Different friends from different states and traveling all over the country. And my main duty station, for the most part, I spent the most time was in Hawaii. So that
meeting people from all over and traveling. That's what I enjoy the most. I enjoy going to San Antonio and El Paso. I love Texas. And that's where I got most of my experience from.
Well, the best thing is camaraderie. The camaraderie with your fellow airmen, in my case. I spent 10 years in the United States Air Force. And the relationships you build with the young men and women that you're there with is just phenomenal. Those relationships last throughout your lifetime. I still have a couple of friends I still talk to today.
No matter what your role, I'm ultimately keeping everyone safe. And actually I see a lot of parallels in the type of people that are in healthcare as well. You see people who are willingly taking on very challenging roles and knowing that it takes more than just the minimum to do a job well, and taking that on willingly and enjoying the challenge. So.
In closing, I want to thank all of our armed forces. I want to thank the soldiers, their wives, their children. They all serve in some capacity for making this a safe place. And the United States is a safe place. We've been guaranteed so many different freedoms. And we just want to thank the United States servicemen, women, for doing their best to make this country as free as possible.